Okay, so what we've got here is the spectrogram of a recording that was done in the National Forest. And I've already got this zoomed in pretty tight, but you can see we've got a lot of high frequency noise. That's what all of this is. All that pink stuff. And it's even louder as you get up here. So there's a lot going on. Matter of fact, the loudest is literally up here where it's almost impossible to hear. Crazy. So this is what we're going to do. Our area of concern is going to be in the frequency range right here. Right between that 400 or so up to about 1,000, maybe a little higher. So just kind of looking, I see we've got probably a plane that went by right here. There's some stuff here. I'm going to zoom in, I'll probably be able to see, but what I really want to see is this right here. That looks very interesting. We've got something going on here, kind of silent, and then we've got all of this going on. These look like coyotes. These look like howls, I should say, not necessarily coyotes, but they look like howls because they have that curve. They have that curve, so that's what this is. So when I see that, that's interesting. Anything that's just a line straight up and down, that's usually a sound that's being created with multiple almost octaves to it. So it's not going to be a howl. Anything that's more horizontal, less vertical, that's the stuff that's interesting that I would like to hear. So this is the raw right out of the recorder. So let's take a listen to this and see what we've got, and we'll go from there. So what we've got then sounds like something howling, just a solo, probably a coyote. And then there's dogs in the background barking. So this is more of that vertical. The dog bark really has that vertical signature to it. Hear that? Whereas your coyote, that may or may not be a coyote. It almost sounds like it's singing. So I tell you what we're going to do real quick. So we've got that section isolated. With Adobe Audition, we're in the waveform window here. And what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to multitrack, because that's where, honestly, that's where you can save your work when you start cleaning things up and adding some gain and stuff to it. So here we are right here. So ignore this part up here. This was another recording that was done simultaneously in a different place. I've just kind of got them lined up so I can reference if I hear something in one, maybe this other one that was 400, well, I forgot how far away that one was, but it was probably 1,000 feet away. All right, so let's take a listen to this. What I've got are some basic effects that I use. I think that my go-to is going to be this HEQ stereo. It's part of the Waves group of plugins. I've had these for many years. This one, what I do is, we've got the frequency. It kind of runs different than what our spectrogram. Our spectrogram, the frequency range was more of a vertical position. We have to kind of take that and we have to lay it over into a horizontal to look at what's going on here. So a high frequency is on this end, low frequency is down on this end. So what this line shows me is this is what I want to, we call it rolling off. We're going to roll off the high end by cutting out those high frequencies, and we're going to roll off the low end by cutting off those frequencies. So I'm going to, just for the demonstration purposes, I'm going to roll those over, and then we'll roll them back in. You can hear the difference. Go ahead and turn it on. All right, let's have this one. So I don't want to go too far because I don't want to cut into the subject's signature. Not a whole lot of low end going on, so this is probably okay right here. Now this is a distant recording, so there's not a lot of gain. You don't want to turn your noise floor up very far. That, I think, is the key to all of this. Yes, you want to be able to hear what's making the sound, but you don't want to raise that noise floor up so loud that it's just unbearable. So, these are going to be quieter recordings because because they're far away. I mean, these sounds are not close; they're coming from far away. And if you're trying to amplify them, you're going to raise that noise floor up, and it's going to sound terrible. So, what I didn't see was, okay, so down here with Adobe Audition, you've got this great little wet-dry mixer. All it means is if it's dry, there's no effects, even though you have all these effects going on, effects plugins. If you have it on dry, it disables all of those, and then it actually slides up in percentages to full, that signal going fully through this effects channel. So it's great because you can kind of, well, we'll get to it in a second, but you can really dial in the mix. So let's look. So we're going full wet. So this is full effects, the original sound, the original mix. We're not going to hear that at all. Everything is going to be going through the effects. So let's go back and do that again. If you look right here, you can see this is kind of where, this is what we're hearing. See how it kind of spikes up right here? Right in there. All right, so we're going to leave this. Now, I've got a couple of these. Let's take a look at what these are. So these are called FFT filters. All it is just going to notch out more of a specific frequency. Instead of rolling them off, it's actually going to dip down and cut. The lower you go with this little dip right here, then the more it reduces the gain within the frequencies that are here. So I've got it set where an area where I kind of like it. Let's listen to the difference. Okay, that one's not doing a whole lot. I may have rolled off past where that one is. Here's another one that I use. It's up a little higher. Let's see. Sorry, a little lower. There we go. So that's cutting out those bugs pretty well. Hear the difference? So it helps to quiet things down. Now, unfortunately, it makes your curve over here. So looking up here in the top right-hand corner, we've got the frequency analysis. What we really want to hear is the shape that we want is kind of up here, flat across, and then as we get right past the 1K mark, we need to start our slope downward. So if you ever look at the frequency of most music recordings, they follow a very similar type shape, where it's very straight, very flat across here, and then it will just drop off, almost like the edge of a cliff. And that is a very pleasing sound to the ear. Now I'm no Chris Lord Algae or anybody like that, but I'm just a guy here. All right, so we've got those things going on. I want to hear a little bit more. I want it to be louder, so that's what this little one knob louder just brings up the volume. It also brings up that noise floor too. It's a little bit louder than I want the noise floor to be. So I'm going to start blending this affected channel in with the original channel, which is what dry is. So I'm going to go from wet to dry, and I'm going to slide this over until I get a sound that just overall sounds a little bit better. So you hear how the noise floor is dropped down, but the subject is still there. The further I go, the more those bugs start to come in. And then let's just go all the way dry. So this is the original. And now I kind of like that. We've got a basic shape. There's going to be some dips right here because we've cut out some frequencies. But overall, we aren't missing any frequencies like we were earlier. So this is a pretty decent recording. Okay, so that's our little solo artist there singing. I think he did a good job. But there's more stuff to look at. So I'm going to toggle back to that waveform, which I could click here. I also like to use the short key, which is a bit faster, and it's the 9. Hit the number 9, and that brings you right over. Okay, so we had these guys going on, or this guy going on here. But if we go a little further, this is where, wow, we got some stuff happening. And what I can see here is we've got kind of a cluster with this isn't a technical word, but it looks kind of smeary. So the signatures are not as defined. There's a lot of other stuff going on. Maybe you could say it looks wetter. And then if we look over here, brighter, more defined hooks and sounds going on. And so there's a reason for that. And so let's take a listen to what we've got going on. I'm going to just zoom this in a little bit more. There we go. I would roll it up, but I tell you, if I do, I know what's going to happen. It's going to, for some reason, on my laptop and Adobe Audition, this thing, when I start messing with this over here too much, going up and down, it just completely overwhelms it, and then I have to restart the whole thing. So, sorry. We're going to just go with what we've got. Let's listen. Okay, so we've got some coyotes in the distance here. Now we've got something else going on over here, so let's see what we've got. All right, so it sounded like we've got a dog barking, and then all of a sudden we've got this coyote here. Now this looks different right here. Maybe the same thing as what this was, but it has a different signature, even compared to what is over here that we're going to listen to. But let's see what this is. Okay, clearly it's a dog. Or a coyote dog. Sounds like it's all from the same spot. All right, then we've got this. That was cool. That's amazing. Let's listen to that again. And then I think we've just got the dog here. Yeah. And since we're here, let's just check this out. That's weird. I don't know what that is. Maybe here's some more. Probably a coyote. Well, we'll clean this up a little bit and see. But that seems to be most of the event right there. Well, just for fun, let's see what this is. Oh, never mind. We already did that. All right, so let's get in and clean this up a little bit, see what we can come up with. Well, we'll just do this section first. We'll go ahead and leave everything how we had it before and see. Yeah, let's put this back on full wet. All right, so they're kind of far away, but I've got that noise floor up pretty high. Before I drop this down a little bit, I want to see if I can do this. Try this de-reverb thing. Now, don't always recommend it because, well, let me show you why. Because it does some pretty crazy stuff. Yeah, kind of weird. It sounds like you're underwater. It does kind of help with the just kind of that echoey noise to bring a little bit of clarity, but cuts a lot of other stuff out too, so I don't like to use it a lot, but we can try it and see. And mix in a little bit of that original mix. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. All right, I'm going to leave that exact setting, and we'll jump back over to our waveform, our spectrogram, and now we're going to listen to this set. Going back. Now what's interesting is you can hear, I'm going to move this over back just a wee bit. You can hear some distant dogs that sound like they may be in someone's house or someone's property that sound like regular dogs. And then you hear this one closer. What was that? Hold on a second. What is this? Did you hear that? It sounded like a little monkey. That was kind of strange. I didn't pick that up on the dry recording. Let's see if we hear it again. Well, whatever it is, if you guys are listening to this with headphones on, you'll know that the little monkey sound is coming out of the left ear, but the coyotes that sound like they're closer are coming out of the right ear. So, two different spots. There it was again. That was an owl right there. And there's that thing again. So I don't know what that is. Very interesting though. Don't think it's a barred owl. I haven't heard that in a barred owl before. If you're wondering on this waveform, just a side note here, like what you see, you're not hearing anything that would resemble what we look at right here. So this is the original recording. This is all that very high frequency. These are some annoying bugs that I literally can't even hear. They're so high. Of course, I can't really hear above about 7,000 hertz anyway. But that kind of threw me off at first. So just ignore this. I kind of wish we could just do all of this using the spectrogram. Unfortunately, with Adobe Audition, you can't. You have to toggle back and forth. At least as far as I've figured out. Maybe there's another way, but I haven't found it. Please post in the comments section if you know of a way. That would be awesome. Let's go back and see if there was anything else we need to look at. Seems like there was one other little. Yeah, we have this little. Well, Yeah, those are dogs. We've got the, okay, we've got this guy right here and right there. Going back. So that's kind of cool. I'm going to see if we can clean it up a little bit more, just to show a couple more of these. This is another Waves plugin. It's the WNS noise suppressor. This one, it's kind of automated, but you will need to tweak it. Let's turn it on. This little yellow line here is it reads our noise. Reduces the volume quite a bit because it's taking the gain down. I know that the area that I want to hear is right around that 700, so I always push that up a bit more just to bring some clarity in. Rest of this looks okay. Does drop the noise floor down, so I'm going to hit this one knob. It's another, same thing as this one up here, just another one. Let me turn it back a little bit. I think 2 is okay. One more time. Kind of sounded like a soprano singer just out there warming up the pipes. All right, so there's more you can do. My ears aren't the best, so there's probably things that you guys, a lot of you can hear that I can't on that higher end, and maybe I should roll off a little bit more up there. That's just one thing that I use for low end specifically. That's just a little boost that I'll use occasionally. But in general, that's what I do. I've got these limiters here and a compressor. You really don't want to use those. Those are just, you don't want to use those. That's just going to mush everything together. But that's pretty much it. That was a very interesting little monkey sound, though. I'm not sure what that was. But that's kind of what I do on Adobe. Would love to know what else we can do to make this even cooler. But yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.